Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Cool Eagle back here with another video, man. The topic of today's discussion, man, is going to be about how the Eagles are without a doubt something that can't be debunked, about how the Eagles offense is going to be so much better compared to last year with the added pieces in free agency and the draft, the progressions that we're seeing of players in their second year out of training camp, and just the mentality that we're going into the season with, man. So let's get into it. So we know what the problem was last year out of our offense was we didn't really get much production out of our wide receiving core. Before Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, and Deshaun Jackson went down, SB Nation ranked our wide receiving core for sixth best in the league. Now, I don't know how that is when you have the inconsistencies with Nelson Aguilar. Alshon Jeffrey can't seem to stay on the field, and we didn't see much out of Deshaun Jackson, but these are the facts. So with this year, with the additions from the draft that you added, you got Jalen Reagor, you got Quez Watkins, John Hightower, all guys who have one thing in common, all have the speed that could stretch the field, something that we didn't have last year. According to Football Outsiders, where Carson Wentz ranked 9th in the league in deep ball percentage at 51.9% behind the likes of Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. And this has context because the wide receiving core that Carson Wentz was working with led the league in accurate incompletions with 12, meaning out of all the deep ball attempts that Carson Wentz made, 12 of those were drops by the wide receivers. And we can name 2 or 3, namely that drop pass by J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in that game against Detroit, that drop pass with Nelson Aguilar in the game against Atlanta. So I feel like this is something Eagles fans will save a lot of stress over because now you're going into the season with that same wide receiving cast. Alshon Jeffrey said to be coming back week 3, week 4, week 5, whatever. So when he gets back, we'll still have that same wide receiving core minus Nelson Aguilar, but we got his replacement, Jalen Reagor, who we know is going to be a stud, Greg Ward, who we know is a proven commodity on this team, and then a supporting cast with Quez Watkins, John Hightower, and Adrian Killins, who's been playing in the slot. And then you got Boston Scott and Miles Sanders going to their second years. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has been looking really good in camp. So, and this the validation from coaches just lets us know what we should expect from our young guys going into this season. In an offense that was ranked 12th in the league in pass yards per game with 239.6, rushing yards 12th in the league with 121.2, points per game 12th in the league at 27.1. So you kind of have no choice but to have more confidence in this Eagles offense that it'll be better than last year's comparative numbers, just based off the moves that we did in the offseason, the mentality that we're going into the season with, and the progression of our young guys that the coaches are confident that we'll see the most of out of this year. And I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, well, cool, man, a lot of teams get better as well. Well, my answer to that is, man, like, y'all haven't read the report on Bleacher Report about the teams that are expected to drop off this season. Let me name you a few, okay? At number 8 last year was the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know this is probably going to come off as a hot take because it's the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson, but hear me out, okay? Close games will be a real problem for them. And I didn't know this because they were 5-1 last year in close games, meaning that they could have lost those games 50-50. Now, assuming that the toughness of their schedule increases this year, you could see a significant drop-off in that. And a lot of these coin games were against bad teams like Cleveland. So, and then at number 5, the Atlanta Falcons, man, who still haven't addressed their offensive line play as they gave up 48 sacks last year, and have done nothing about it. Tampa Bay and New Orleans are looking hot this year. And then at number 10, the Los Angeles Chargers. Well, Tyrod Taylor just sucks. He just sucks. You don't believe in him over Phillip Rivers, who's been throwing 4,000 plus yards for consecutive seasons, and you go to Tyrod Taylor, who's more of like a dink and dunk Dak. You know what I'm saying? So this leads me to my last conclusion, man. And you got to appreciate your coaching staff. All these coaches that we picked up in the offseason all have championship pedigree. Andy Weidel, he has 2 Super Bowls under his belt. Eagles in 2017, the Ravens in 2012. His specialty was putting together personnel efficiently. And he also worked with Joe Douglas, who we know is a good coordinator when it comes to personnel. And Marquand Manuel, 2 Super Bowls, one with Atlanta when he was the D coordinator for them, and Seattle when he was a secondary specialist for them. So it just makes you believe that this team is going to be better just based off the improvements that we had and the teams that are set to drop off this year.